Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Nikki Gajoo. She is a certified financial planner, a money coach, certified money coach, and she is the founder of Opulentus Wealth, a fee for advice financial advisory practice based in Sunninghill, Johannesburg. Welcome to the show, Nikki.
Hi, Jay. Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to the session.
Wonderful. You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India. And not just in India, I'm sure a lot of people in the globe, wherever the show will be watched or listened to or read about, maybe tomorrow, day after, or any day, people will be able to benefit from your advice. And especially when it's about money, a lot of people would be certainly interested to know about money. So, Nikki, just to understand from you, you talk about money archetype, and
Yes.
and you are a money coach, certified money coach. So, how do I know what money archetype is it? Is it that money goes to people because of their archetypes? I didn't know that. I should have known about this much earlier on. Help us understand what my money archetype is, or for anyone else's.
Let me help you understand a bit, Jay. So, as a certified money coach, I received my training at the Money Coaching Institute in the States. So, as part of our coursework, we have been trained in a step by step methodology whereby we are able to assist clients identify and transform and heal any negative or unwanted or undesirable money patterns that they have. Now, as part of this methodology, we utilize what we call archetypes. And these archetypes, simply put, are money personality types. Now, in money coaching, we have 8 different archetypes, and we utilize what's called a money quiz. So that is available on our website, www.imalicoaching.com. A person can take the quiz, and based on their responses, I receive an automated response, and I would be able to tell what is your active archetypes and what are your passive archetypes. So with the money archetypes, there's three desired archetypes, which if a person has high percentages within these archetypes, it means that their money story is going to be far more favorable or successful than others. And these 3 archetypes are the warrior archetype, the magician archetype, and the creator archetype. Now, you may ask, what happens if you do the quiz and you find that you're not active in any of these archetypes? How would one change that? That is part of the work that we do with you as a client, is then look at all your other archetypes, which are passive. We try and balance them out, and we provide you with solutions to try and strengthen the other 3 active desired archetypes, being the warrior, the magician, and the creator artist. So also, Ajay, by using archetypes, it's connecting with the client, but it's not us saying, Ajay, you are the victim archetype. So if we had to say that, then Ajay may think, oh gosh, I'm a victim archetype. I don't know if I want to proceed working with Nikki here. And you may judge yourself, you may feel a whole lot of emotions. So by using archetypes, it's an indirect association in terms of the usage of metaphors.
Right, right, Nikki. So you talked about different type of archetypes. More one can know from your website. But what I could gather was there are these archetypes like warrior, musician. So how do I can one change their archetypes? Because obviously, what does warrior mean and what does a musician means? If one is a musician, then he earns more, he or she earns more money, or is it that a warrior, what type of warrior are you talking about? Help us understand these types, and also the fact that it's, yes, there one can change their money archetypes, which is what they are, but then there is a possibility of that change.
Sure. So, Jay, just a bit of correction there. It's not musician, it's actually magician, you know,
Okay, okay.
magician. Okay.
I am
So,
neither a musician nor a magician, but I would like to learn the magic of money for the audience.
exactly, that's a good analogy, the magic of money. So, if you do the quiz and we pick up a client does not have a very strong or high magician archetype, then we work with the client to try and explain to the client what their passive archetypes are. So earlier on, I mentioned the victim archetype. So that's what we call a passive archetype. A victim archetype is generally the person who goes around feeling sorry for themselves and their situation. So, this is a person who blames the world for their financial problems, and everything and everyone's a problem as opposed to themselves. So, if I'm working with a client who's a victim archetype, I would firstly very gently show them what their archetype is all about, being a victim. Then we start working together to convert that victim archetype into a warrior archetype. Now, a warrior archetype is a person, irrespective of economic circumstances, irrespective of whatever's happening in the world, a warrior will find a way to make money. Whereas a victim will say, oh no, it's a global recession. I can't make money. A warrior will stand tall and strong and say, but you know what? It is a recession. There must be ways to create money opportunities. How can I make money? So, very gently, we show the victim archetype how you transform by taking small, significant steps of change into a warrior archetype where you will always be positive about money. You will always find ways to make money in any economic situation. Now, I also mentioned the magician archetype. So, Ajay, the magician archetype is exactly what it says. A magician is a person who just has to wave their wand, right? And money automatically appears. So, when we work with clients who do not have the magician archetype, we try and open their mindset to being open to other opportunities that come with ease, right? You've heard this analogy of working less but earning more, right? Now, a lot of people out there, they think, oh, we've got to work 24/7, 7 days a week, and I'm not seeing any money. What am I doing wrong? What a person is doing wrong is that they are not accessing their inner magician. The inner magician is a person who can access any type of opportunities and abilities with ease. They do so by surrendering. They do so by being open to anything that's out there. A person with a strong magician is a person who does not live in their head, Ajay. They live in their heart and they're just open to anything that comes their way. You know, there's an analogy of a glass half empty and a glass half full. A victim will look at it and say, the glass is empty. Whereas a magician will look at it and say, this glass is full. How do I make this glass overflow with opportunities? So it's all linked to a mindset.
Right. It's all linked to a mindset. Now, let's look at this whole money thing in two, three aspects. One is that I don't have money, but I'm trying to earn money. Now,
Okay,
if I don't have money, that can be for various reasons. One is the
correct.
money archetype. So we understand that, and we'll try and earn money by knowing ourselves better. The second part is somebody who inherits some money or a lot of money. What is their money archetype and how do they deal with that part? And the third part is in the business, the money related to business. How does one deal with that part if they know that their money archetype is different than what their business demands? How do they deal with that aspect of their money archetype or way of looking at money. Help us understand from these three perspectives which largely people deal with. And thirdly, secondly, I learned that maybe you earn money because of your hard work. You earn money, or you lose money because you are stupid. Where does this archetype fit in? How does it control my reactions or actions with regards to money? How do I put all these things together so that money is, or I have a great relationship with money, and if I don't have now, I transform that relationship into a healthy one going forward.
Okay, so Ajay, in effect, you've asked me four different questions, right? So I'm going to start off with the person who didn't have money, they now earning money, right? And what's your question around this particular person?
Yeah, that if I don't have money or a little bit of money,
Right.
what should I consider? Is it that this is not my money archetype, so maybe that's why I'm not working, and maybe
Okay.
some people might think, okay, it is my fate. Many people might take
Ooh.
it, yeah, it is related to my fate and I will never earn money, instead of looking at their mindset of earning money positively. How do you balance that aspect of their understanding of this money process?
So, what we do, Ajay, we actually use this process called a core process, right? Because if a people is saying maybe this is my fate that I don't have money, we have to drill down to understand where this belief comes from, right? Is this a belief that comes from, be it parents or the people you grew up with, or is this your own self-limiting belief? Because something has happened to make you believe that I can't make money, or I can't find employment, or I'm not successful, or this is my fate. So, the first thing we do is we've been trained in methods to identify where the origin of the belief comes from. Right. So, Ajay, what's important is a lot of our self limiting beliefs are often irrational. It's stories that we tell ourselves, and often these stories are stories that keep us safe, right? So if you, that person, and your story is, oh, I'll never find a job, this is my fate, I'll never be financially successful. This is a story you're telling yourself to keep yourself safe, because someone else can call you out and say to you, but that's not the case. You healthy, you've got hands, you've got legs, you've got a mind, you've got a voice. There's plenty of opportunities out there for you. The problem is not that it's your fate. The problem is actually you, and you are creating your own limiting beliefs. Then we'd sit down with a person and drill down to the origin of the belief. And, as I said, emotions are irrational, right? And we connect it to the archetypes, and we show the person what on how the self-limiting irrational belief is preventing them from moving forward in their lives and creating obstacles in their lives. And through facilitation and a whole lot of questions that we ask, the whole concept is for the person to then, by themselves, based on how we facilitate the discussion, for them to say, oh, okay, the problem's actually me, without me telling them, listen, you are the problem.
Right, right. And what about, I asked about the inherited money. Your your
Yes.
your dad may have a good money, money archetype, and you may not have a good one. But and the trouble part is that you have not inherited or understood or learned anything from your dad, who has looked at money positively. And then what do you do with that money? You should be either, you be scared, or should you learn the money process so that you can handle that money well? How does that pan out for me?
So I'd like to think, Ajay, if in this example, your dad was good with money and you've been living in that home, chances of you being good with money would be more, more than highly likely, right? Unless you had a mom who was a compulsive spender, then you could possibly fall more into your mom's side of thinking, right? So there's a high probability that you'd be comfortable in handling money. But where you find a client's not comfortable in handling money and they either scared of losing the money or actually not comfortable with having all that money, we have to go back and drill down to where this pattern comes from. What is causing the discomfort? Is this something that has come about recently? Is this something that goes as far back as your childhood? Something could have possibly happened in childhood. Perhaps an uncle, a maternal aunt or uncle could have said, Ajay, you will never be successful with money. No matter how much of money you have, you will not be successful. And that could have been something that stuck in your mind and your heart. And now you're an adult, you've inherited this money from your parents, but the only thing you're thinking of is that time when you were a young child and a maternal aunt or uncle said to you, you'd never be successful with money. So once again, we take you to through a process to uncover where this irrational, or I'd say, these thoughts and emotions come from. And we facilitate discussions to show a person that, listen, this isn't necessarily true, right? And look at your dad. Your dad's been successful. So what's limiting you from being successful as well? And that's how we start working with the client and trying to strengthen up the warrior and the magician archetype in that particular example. But on this note, though, Ajay, I don't know if this happens in India, but here in South Africa, a lot of people love playing the national lottery. And you find a lot of people, when they win the national lottery, it's not uncommon for them to lose all the money they've won over a short period of time, you know? And then one would ask, but why is it you've won millions of rands? And how could you just squander it or give it away or lose it over a short period of time? And if you drill down, you'll actually find if a person's not comfortable with having money, they will find any way to let go of that money, whether it's squandering it, giving it away, because their mindset and their belief system is, I don't have and I will not have. So when it comes, they'll do their best to ensure it never stays.
Right, right, Nikki. And what about a business? A business may have several founders and,
Okay.
and entrepreneurs. How does the business acquire that archetype? Because all the founders may have different money archetypes. What type of archetype will the business adopt, and how will it function with that sort of an archetype? How will the world know about it? The musician, the magician, the warrior, or anything else?
So, business is a very tricky one, Ajay. The more partners or founders you have in the business, the more complicated it becomes because there's different people with different personalities and certainly different money archetypes, and also their own sets of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors around money, right? You could have one of the founders who's what we call, with business archetypes, we have 10 archetypes. So they're different to money archetypes. The only common archetype is the warrior archetype between both money coaching as well as business archetypes coaching. Then you'll find a servant leader. If you three founders of a business, a person with a strong servant leader archetype would be happy not to charge clients or would be happy for the business not to make a profit, because a servant leader is someone who thinks about the best of the staff and your clients at the detriment of the revenue of the business. So it makes it tricky when you have three different people And when we do business archetypes coaching, we bring all partners together. We first understand their individual archetypes, what their strengths and weaknesses are around their archetypes, and then we start working towards common goals within the business, which would be the warrior archetype. Now, Ajay, it's not uncommon for people to decide to start up a business, but you'll find that, for example, they start up a business to manufacture glasses to hold water, right? And you'll find they're good at the manufacturing, but none of the founders are very strong in terms of leadership skills. And then when I'm working with those clients, I'll have to say to them, you are stronger operationally, all three of you. You may have to consider bringing in another person, even if they're not a director or a founder, to actually lead your business, because you need a strong warrior to be a leader, to lead the business. Whereas the three of you are good at manufacturing glasses, but you lack the leadership ability. Yes, you can change that where a person in this example is operational. You can do a lot of mentoring, business mentoring, coaching, and also business archetypes coaching to start changing their archetype to your warrior archetypes. So they step it up and they become leaders in the business.
Absolutely, Nikki. Money is, is sometimes an easy thing, and many a times it is such a difficult thing. And before you actually come to the money part, you have to understand a lot about the money matters itself, what matter this money is made of, and in fact, what matter you are made of, so that you know more about the money, and also the money knows you well enough. So what type of clients come to you mainly, Nikki, and what do they actually come for? Is it about to know their archetypes, or is it about knowing themselves better, or knowing their relationships with money? How does it work out when your clients come to you, so that people know what they can approach you for actually?
Sure. So, Ajay, I work with a lot of business clients who, apart from being business owners, they are individuals in their personal capacity as well. And then also in their personal capacity, they have spouses. So I may start off working with a business owner, but once we're done, we work on their individual money coaching, and then we work on their couples money coaching with their spouses, right? So
Okay.
clients tend to come with me when they struggle with their relationships with money, whether it's positive or negative. And a lot of people think, oh no, I should only work with a money coach if I'm having problems around my relationship with money. That's not the case. There are a lot of clients out there who come to me because they've acquired a lot of money, but they have fear and anxiety around losing that money, or they have fear and anxiety around spending that money. And the whole thing about money coaching is, when we work with clients, our goal is to help them have a balanced relationship with money, where you are happy to give and receive, right? And you have that equal balance. We don't want you in a situation where you're not spending at all. Then you're going to get resentment. And we don't want to have a situation where you're spending all the time, because that's not going to help you either, especially if you have your business. It's going to be to the detriment of the revenue and the profit of your business. So the whole idea is to have a balanced relationship with money. And people come to us when they've generally worked with financial planners, they've put together plans, but they feel that they're getting stuck, or their plans are not going anywhere, and they can't understand why they're doing the things that they're doing. And they need to figure out, why is it I'm spending so much? Why is it that I'm not saving enough? Why is it that I'm stuck in a rut? Why is it, as a business owner, I'd rather take all the profit from my business as opposed to reinvesting a portion into my business or reinvesting into my staff? So people come to me for many reasons, but it's mostly money related. And as I said, it's not necessarily because people are experiencing challenges in terms of spending money, but it's also those who are afraid to spend money too.
Right, right, Nikki. So, how can people connect with you? What's the best way to reach to you and get your help and also associate with you in a professional manner?
So the easiest way would be to contact us through our website. So that's www.imalicoaching.com. There is an info page. You can complete your details. We'll get back to you. Also, on our website, we have all the links to our social media, be it Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can click on any of the icons, get to our social media pages, and contact us through social media as well.
Right, right. My last question to you, Nikki, is to understand whether one should look at this whole dealing with money as healing your relationship with money or transforming your relationship with money, or is it the same thing in both these situations?
So it's actually different, Ajay. You firstly start off by healing your relationship with money, right? A lot of us tend to suffer from what we call money wounds, which generally tend to come from as early as age 5, because that's when most of our money patterns start forming. So by healing your relationship, understanding what your money wounds are, and making peace with that, you then able to transform your relationship, because then you're not holding any negative energy or any energetic charge, because you've healed your wounds, right? And once you heal, then we start transforming to a more desirable money outcome or state of mind.
Wonderful, wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thanks for having me.